Hey guys, my name is Amy Jane and welcome back to my channel. This is part one of a series titled The Truth About Cholesterol. I'm a registered dietitian and we as professionals really got it wrong when we told the public that cholesterol is bad. And not only were we dead wrong, but our recommendations to lower cholesterol in the diet might even be dangerous. In today's video, I'm going to discuss the importance of dietary cholesterol, how cholesterol got a bad reputation, the dangers of cholesterol-lowering drugs like statins, and my dietary recommendations. First, to really understand and undo the myth that cholesterol is bad, we need to understand its role and function in our body. Because cholesterol is so necessary to sustain life, the body actually produces about 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of cholesterol daily depending on the person. So that's equivalent to the amount of cholesterol present in anywhere from 5 to 10 eggs per day. Hormones are made from cholesterol and are very important for many different functions. So this means that low levels of cholesterol will affect a lot of different things, like a person's libido, their muscle mass, bone density, energy levels, immune function, digestion, and blood pressure. Vitamin D is also made from cholesterol and is critical for building strong bones, normalizing blood pressure, keeping up a healthy immune system, and it can be protective against cancer. So how did we come to believe that cholesterol was bad? When we first started looking into the issue of heart disease in America, researchers found that cholesterol was the primary component of atherosclerotic plaques. And the building of this plaque, which was understood to narrow the arteries until it cut off blood flow, was thought at the time to be the central cause of a heart attack. However, more research has revealed that there is more to the story. Cholesterol, along with calcium, actually acts as a band-aid by trying to heal the arteries from damage. So when there's an injury to the artery, cholesterol then tries to patch the wound, so to speak. So blaming cholesterol as the root cause for a heart attack is like blaming a firefighter for the fire because you saw him at the scene of an accident. Unfortunately, we've been blaming the wrong guy. We need to instead focus on what caused the injury in the first place. The root cause of artery damage and therefore heart disease is inflammation, oxidation, sugar, and stress, not cholesterol. Let's go back and briefly talk about the research done on cholesterol. Back in the 1950s, scientists and doctors had really good intentions and were desperate to find the cause of our increased heart disease here in the United States. So they set out trying to conduct research in the field of nutrition for the first time. And long story short, the research linking dietary cholesterol to heart disease and other health issues was weak and majorly flawed. And the research showing that high cholesterol is not linked to heart disease was ignored or never made it to the media. In fact, there's evidence that low cholesterol actually leads to health issues like poor memory, depression, and suicidal thoughts. I always assumed that before a national nutrition guideline was created for the public, that there was a lot of quality research that backed up that recommendation, but that was just not the case for cholesterol. It was mostly based on one study called the 7 Countries Study, and then supposedly reaffirmed by the Framingham Study, both of which do not prove that cholesterol increases the risk of heart disease. My next video in this series is going to be dedicated specifically to the flaws of cholesterol research that influenced our current dietary guidelines. This is going to be an important one, so don't miss it. Next, I want to talk briefly about the dangers of cholesterol-lowering drugs, or statins. So I'm talking about Lipitor and the many others. First off, these drugs are lowering the very important cholesterol that your body needs to function properly. So as I mentioned before, all of your hormones, your digestion, immune function, etc., are going to be impacted in a negative way. The second big issue is that statins lower the body's ability to produce coenzyme Q10, also known as CoQ10. And CoQ10 is vital for muscle cell energy production so that your organs, and mainly your heart, can function properly. So if you still choose to continue taking a statin, please consider taking a CoQ10 supplement as well. And another major downfall to this drug are all the unpleasant and potentially long-term side effects. People on statins experience muscle pains, memory loss, issues controlling blood sugar, especially in type 2 diabetics, possible liver damage, and having to bear the cost to purchase these drugs. Statins are not necessary to prevent a heart attack or stroke. And I know that's shocking to hear, but I'm going to say it again. Statins are not necessary to prevent a heart attack. Instead, non-inflammatory food choices and lifestyle are a much better option to reduce your risk of heart disease over any cholesterol-lowering drug. But don't take my word for it, go do the research yourself. Yes, there's a lot of misleading, poor quality research out there, but on the flip side, there's also a lot of high quality research on the subject as well. Please don't make any changes to your current medication without first talking with an educated doctor who's keeping up with quality research. And finally, what are my cholesterol dietary recommendations? It's quite simple. Do not restrict cholesterol-containing foods. So eat the whole egg and enjoy the yolk. That's the best part. It's packed with nutrients that far outweigh the white part by itself. Even our national dietary guidelines changed their recommendations concerning cholesterol after restricting it since the 60s. Now, the dietary guidelines for Americans 2015 to 2020 no longer consider cholesterol a nutrient of concern after review of previous data over the last 50-60 years. They concluded that the argument against cholesterol was weak and insufficient, and I agree, which is why I'm confused how it still ended up shaping our nutrition guidelines for the last 60 years. However, they still recommend restricting cholesterol to some degree because foods typically high in cholesterol are high in saturated fat, which is believed to cause heart disease. And this is where I disagree, again based on quality research. So stay tuned to hear the untold truth about saturated fat in upcoming videos. Friends and family, again, don't take my word for it. Please investigate everything that I have said for yourself. Take your health into your own hands and do the research. Don't blindly believe that article that you read. Don't just blindly follow the government dietary guidelines. Choose your doctor and registered dietitian wisely and ensure that they're keeping up with high quality research. And as Dr. Ken Berry would say, trust in God, not your doctor. Check out my next couple of videos in this series where I will expand on years of flawed research surrounding cholesterol and explain why LDL cholesterol is not a reliable blood test to determine heart disease risk. I've also linked a couple books with great information on cholesterol in the description box below, so check that out. If you enjoyed this type of content and want to see more, let me know by liking this video and subscribing. And if you have any questions on the subject, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time.